Hello everyone. Today I'm going to walk you guys through the concepts of web application security. This presentation is going to include what is web application security, why is it important for us to secure our web applications, the OWASP top 10 list of risks and vulnerabilities, the some basic concepts on vulnerability and risk assessment, a secure SDLC concept, the types of application security testing, and some popular tools available in the market for carrying out penetration testing. So let's start the presentation. Before starting the presentation, I would like to remind all the developers out there to always sanitize their database inputs. It's very important. So coming to our first important question, what actually is application security? So we know that today the world runs on application and almost all application has some kind of vulnerability. So application security is the process of developing, adding and testing security features within an application to prevent security vulnerabilities against threats such as unauthorized access and modification. It can include hardware, software, strategies and procedures that would help us in identifying and minimizing the security vulnerabilities. Coming to our second important questions, why do we need to secure our applications? Well, we can see that from these clippings. So as we saw in these clippings, it's very important to secure our applications. There are multiple reasons to do so. First of all, we do not want our confidential and sensitive data of our organization to leak out in the public. Second of all, this can not only lead to financial losses, but it can cause reputational loss as well. This is the OWASP Top 10 Security Risks and Vulnerabilities. So, OWASP Top 10 is a security awareness document for developers and web application security. It contains broad consensus about the most critical security risks to web application. The top 3 security risks in 2020 are injection, broken authentication, and sensitive data exposure. It's very important for us to be aware of the OWASP top 10 security risks and vulnerabilities. This diagram shows us the steps involved in vulnerability assessment for securing our network. The first step is the identification of the vulnerability. The second step is its analysis. The third step is carrying out a risk assessment. And the fourth and the last step is to remediate those vulnerabilities. As you can see in this diagram, it's a decision workflow for handling a vulnerability. So first of all, we see if it's possible to remediate the vulnerability. If yes, we apply the fix and then we validate. If not, we see is if there's a possibility to mitigate. If yes, we apply the mitigation controls. If not, we see if the vulnerability could be considered as a business acceptable risk. If yes, we approve the exception and then revisit them on expiration. So we all are aware about the SDLC process, which is software development lifecycle, but a secure SDLC is equally important. It's very important to treat security not just as an afterthought, but well integrated in the initial process as well. So as we can see, there are two types of approaches. First is the proactive approach, and the second one is the reactive approach. The first step is to check the security requirements and do risk and threat analysis. The first one is to carry out code reviews and perform static analysis. The third step is to perform dynamic analysis. And the last one is to do a scanning of all the vulnerabilities. So this was the generic approach. Now, coming to the types of web application security testing, here we can see three types. The first one is the static application security testing, which is also known as white box testing. It basically reviews your static code. So it identifies vulnerabilities in applications without executing them. The second one is dynamic application security testing, which is also known as black box testing. It identifies vulnerabilities in applications while they are running. The third one is penetration testing, wherein the testers are supposed to think like cyber criminals and attack the applications and code. And if it proves to be successful, we can jot down those vulnerabilities and mitigate them. This is a picture which contains some powerful penetration testing tools available in the market. So it has Burp Suite, Metasploit, Nessus, Kali Linux, OWASP, and Nmap. Starting with OWASP, it is a static application security testing tool. It basically reviews your source code and highlights the part of the snippet of the code that you've provided to show us the discovered vulnerability. It's an open source tool. Burp Suite and Kali Linux are some popularly known tools which identifies vulnerabilities in static as well as dynamic code. Metasploit and Nmap are some important tools which are helpful in carrying out port scanning attacks. So they basically help us in identifying the open ports and the services which are running on them. So that was all for application security. Thank you so much for listening.